Hello, this is the BBC News with Fiona MacDonald. Democrats in the United States say the Mueller report on Russian election interference contains damning evidence about President Trump's behaviour, in spite of clearing him of colluding with Moscow. The report details 10 separate instances in which the president potentially tried to obstruct justice. However, the special counsel leaves open the issue of whether or not these constituted a crime. Here's David Willis.
The publication of this report, albeit in redacted form, marks, in a sense, a moment of closure, the culmination of a 22-month-long investigation that's overshadowed the Trump administration. Hence, senior Republicans are saying it's time now to move on. But this also marks the starting point for a new round of partisan warfare, with Democrats in Congress already calling for an unredacted version of this report and for the special counsel Robert Mueller to come before them to testify in person.
President Trump has said the finding that he didn't collude with Russia means it's game over for his opponents. He said it was difficult to accuse someone of obstructing justice when there was no underlying crime. The Prime Minister of Mali and his entire government have resigned 4 weeks after more than 150 herders were killed in an attack by vigilantes. Roger Walker reports.
The massacre in the village of Ouagassogou in central Mali shocked the country. On Wednesday, parliamentarians discussed a possible motion of no confidence in the Prime Minister, Soumilou Boubaye Maïga, over his government's failure to disarm militias and deal with Islamist militants. Correspondents say the attack on the Fulani herders by suspected hunters from the Dogon community was bloody even by the standards of Mali's ever-worsening violence. It followed an assault by jihadists on an army post in which at least 23 soldiers died.
3 world-renowned mountaineers have been hit by an avalanche in the Canadian Rockies and are presumed dead. Officials say David Lama and his climbing companions Hans-Jörg Auer and Jess Ross Kelly were attempting to scale Howes Park north of Banff. Steve Jackson reports.
The 3 men were attempting an extremely demanding route up Howes Peak that has only been completed once before, but they did not return. Conditions are too treacherous for rescue teams to attempt a search, but avalanche debris and, according to one report, a partially buried body have been seen from a helicopter. David Lama was one of the rising stars of the mountaineering world, and footage of one climb he led on Annapurna in the Himalayas with his fellow Austrian Hans-Jörg Auer has been viewed more than 1 million times on YouTube. Jess Ross Kelly was at one point the youngest American to have climbed Everest.
World News from the BBC. A woman has died after shooting broke out during rioting in the city of Londonderry in Northern Ireland. The violence began on Thursday night following police raids in the Cregan district. Petrol bombs were thrown at police vehicles. Police say they're treating the woman's death as a terrorist incident. An appeal court in France has increased the prison sentence imposed on the brother of a jihadist who carried out the country's deadliest attack on Jews in 3 decades. The court ordered that Abdelkader Merah should now serve 30 years rather than 20 for being part of a terrorist conspiracy. Merah's brother Mohammed shot dead a rabbi and 3 children at a Jewish school in Toulouse in 2012. Experts say that a small bone which has been disappearing from human bodies has started to re-emerge. The fabella is now being found in nearly 4 out of 10 people. Richard Galpin reports.
Researchers at Imperial College in London say they've discovered that a bone called the fabella has made an unexpected comeback. Having obtained data on more than 20,000 knees dating back more than 100 years, they've concluded the fabella is now 3 times more common than in 1918. The bone is found in a tendon behind the knee, and scientists still don't know what its function is because so far no one's tried to find out. But it is known to be a cause of knee problems and pain, and people with arthritis of the knee are twice as likely to have a fabella than those who do not.
A sleeping child has been dragged from his family's camper van by a dingo on a popular Australian holiday island. The 14-month-old boy suffered a fractured skull and deep cuts and is recovering in hospital. The child was rescued from the jaws of the animal by his father, who was awoken by screams during the night on Fraser Island. Attacks by dingoes are rare, but this is the second on the island this year. BBC News.